Love's Orchard out in Medina, Texas. We're gonna get some new apple trees. Not sure when, but we're gonna get them from them. And that's what we picked today. Box of Gala apples and some figs. And there's our green pepper harvest for the day. We're getting some, nothing like that first year, but we're getting some finally. Hello fellow YouTubers, Bear Prepper here, where everyone's been asking me how I do my mealyworms. So first thing I want to say is, Pet Prepper and all of you that don't like worms, don't watch this video. And Pet, oh, watch it, get a little scared, it might be fun. Alright, so the first thing I do, you can buy mealyworms, 1,000 of them, for about $12 at Amazon to get you started. Once you get started, there's really no cost involved. We're using food storage. What I did was I took an equal part of oatmeal, ground flour, I ground it up so it's like the cracked wheat stage, powdered milk, and powdered eggs. And I mixed it together. You can add a little wheat germ, jar of wheat germ. It's a little expensive, but you can add some wheat germ in it if you want. And what you want to do is you want to take 2 plastic tubs. You should always have 2 going. I drilled holes in it. A lot of people don't put lids on them because they say the black bugs don't fly out. I'm not that trusting. And I don't really like worms, but my chickens do. So about a half a gallon will fit in these smaller ones. And you want to put it about halfway up and just spread it out. The reason you're doing 2 bins is one is going to be for the beetles to lay more eggs and hatch more worms, and one is for your clean worms. And so when you're done using this one and used up all your worms, you're going to move your beetles over, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then your worms will be in here to use up, and your beetles will be over here creating new ones, and it's just a back and forth system. Saves you lots of money because those bags of dehydrated worms are not cheap, and they prefer the live worms. So each one of these is what, 6 cups? So 7 cups, that's 14 cups. Just divide it up. And if you don't have one of those ingredients, don't worry, leave it off. Just makes for a healthier worm. You can actually grow these in strictly wheat germ without any issues. So I have my 2 bins ready, and I'm going to push them aside. Now what I've done is I've taken, and this has been a neglected worm bin, and that's why we're working with this one. Took a paper towel and I wet it. And I put it on top of the worm bin. Make sure you leave openings along the edges, because you don't want to drown them. You want to be able to climb out if they need to. You set it on there for a couple hours. And what happens is the worms and the beetles come up to the top. And I saw a beetle a minute ago. Where'd my beetle go? I must have given him too much water and he went back down. Those are your worm castings. Those are really good for your garden. Alright, so what we ended up doing was taking 1/8 of an inch hardware cloth and just scraping, because we let this go so long that it was really compact at the bottom. And you just shake it through, and as the worms fall through, you can pick them out. I think this works better than the strainer because it fits right in there. Now, if your worms were partially white, they go in your other tub. We'll leave the rest of these in there for the chickens, because we're going to let them have a field day with this. So we have this with our worms in it. We're going to put a carrot in it. They do really well with a carrot. So we're going to put a carrot in that one, and that's for their moisture. Put your lid on. If you have beetles, you put them in here. We only have larvae. So we've got the larvae in there, and hopefully they will grow. Can you see the difference? That is a larva. It's getting ready, getting ready to turn into a beetle, and that's a worm. Kind of covered them up. We're going to put a green pepper in here so that they'll lay eggs in the green pepper. They seem to like that. And you put your lid on. And you have your 2 bins. So you feed your chickens out of this one. Your beetles are laying eggs. About the time you finish your eggs in this one, you take your beetles out that are then adults and put them in this one, and you feed your chickens out of this one. This stuff, all of this, and look at this. This is amazing. Worm castings. Look how dark and rich that is. Look at that. And all, see all the eggs? I'm going to put these in with the beetles. These are, I don't know if you probably can't see, there's little eggs in there. So we'll put those in with the beetles. Give them a head start on new babies. Let's see what we got in here. Let's see if we got the same thing. Oh, look at that. That white is where they laid their eggs. So we're going to bury that back under. And bury this back under. And see if we can get some babies to hatch. And get some beetles to grow. We gotta put something for moisture. A carrot and a green pepper, and a carrot in this one. Just take your bin down to your chickens that you're gonna use as your castings. And believe me, they'll hop in it. They'll know what to do. And in here is where we found all the eggs that hatched. So there you go. It's that simple. Just takes a few minutes. Just don't be afraid of worms. Hope this is what you were looking for. Blessings.